I want to talk today about silence. Now, I know it's a funny way to start a video, but the reality is this, man. Silence when you're playing guitar is very important. What you do with the quiet moments, what you do with space is equally as important as what you play. But it's also silence is a power move when it comes to interaction with people on a daily basis. In today's world, it often feels like the loudest person in the room holds the most power. But is that really true? History and experience tells us otherwise. Some of the most intelligent, successful, and respected individuals are those who understand the power of silence and active listening. There's a reason why the smartest person in the room is usually the quietest, while the weakest person often makes the most noise. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a tool, a strategy, and a sign of wisdom. In this discussion, we'll explore why embracing silence and listening more can lead to greater intelligence, better decision making, and a deeper understanding of the world around us. Now, look, this is a very important thing. The reality is this, man, and I'll notice it, in today's recording world where you have these wave, forms and, you got these stems on tracks. A lot of times I'll do a pass and I'll see, did I just make one large run-on sentence, or is there some nice spaces in there? And sometimes I'll go, you know what? I need to leave more space. It's so very important to not, necessarily be the Ingve in the room and, be constantly doing things. And look, if it's funny because on this channel, you come here to watch me talk, right? But man, if you get me in certain social settings, especially family social settings, or you get me in a large group, usually these days, I'll be the quietest person in the room, sometimes saying nothing, but I'm listening to everything around me. Now, here's the deal. When you are silent, you are processing information more effectively. Silence creates space for critical thinking and reflection. The mind works best when it isn't overloaded with noise and distractions. In conversations, pausing before speaking helps you formulate more thoughtful and impactful responses. Now, a lot of times, processing information is important. And the only way to process information sometimes is to remain quiet. And, I have that problem with my wife sometimes. She'll be feeding me information. And I said, whoa, you're overloading me with information. I can't process it all. Slow down. And what are you trying to tell me? What is the basic thing of what you're trying to tell me? But there's no way you can process information if you're constantly flapping your jaw. So the mind works best when it's not overloaded, and certainly mine does as well. In conversations, pausing before speaking helps you formulate more thoughtful and impactful responses. Now, silence also can be a sign of control and confidence. Loud people often seek validation, while quiet individuals tend to be secure in themselves. Silence gives a sense of mystery and strength. When you don't reveal everything, people wonder what you know. Now, this ties back to playing guitar again, and I think this is an important lesson. Here's the deal. There'll be times where I'm on a gig, and I'm playing guitar or whatever, and if say I get on a gig and I'm with people that have no idea who I am or how I play, I will shrink into that situation. When it comes time to sound check, I will play nothing, especially if I'm getting negative vibes from them. There's some people you play with and you just get negative vibes, and it's better to just not reveal everything. And then when it comes time to play, and I'm talking about, the kind of situations that I would play in where it's playing standard songs or standard grooves or whatever, and then improvising, creating on the spot. So I would not reveal much in any sound check or me playing. I had a college professor at one time tell me, and this is wise words. I didn't really get along good with this professor, but I got to a gig. They had booked us to play in the college, like the outdoor, outside the library, so the commons, right? And we're going to play in the commons with this little jazz trio that I was playing in. And before the band played, I'm a hotshot young player, so I'm playing, all this stuff before we'd even, the band had played a note. The professor comes up and says, "Hey, man, don't give it all away. Don't give it all away. Wait till you actually play." And that's great advice that I've followed pretty much ever since, because man, you know what? Let the other people show off during sound check. They can show off all they want. When it comes time for the show, you're going to light it up. And that's the reality, because nobody was expecting that. Everybody's expecting the guy with verbal diarrhea or playing diarrhea during sound check to be the hot shot. And then, boom, you come out of nowhere and you can steal the show that way. Silence as a strategic advantage. It is a strategic advantage because silence gives a sense of mystery and strength. You don't want to reveal everything. People wonder what you know. Leaders and decision makers who stay calm under pressure gain more respect than those who react emotionally. This is something, man, people need to realize now. I tend to, back in my youth, I reacted emotionally. I wish somebody had told me to learn to be stoic, learn to be like Spock, and process the information and then decide how I was going to react. Nobody ever taught me these things. And I'm hoping this can reach some of the younger viewers out there. I'm hoping this can be something that can help more than maybe the guys that I talk to on a regular basis that probably know this stuff. The strategic advantage of silence is the less you say, the less people can use against you. Silence forces others to reveal more than they intended, giving you an edge in negotiations, debates, and discussions. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, taught that strategy is about patience. The person who listens first gains the upper hand. Now, there is a power of listening, the power of it. The smartest people are the best listeners. Intelligence isn't just about what you know, it's about how well you absorb and process information. Great listeners pick up on nuances, patterns, and details that others miss. Many of history's most brilliant minds, Albert Einstein, Warren Buffett, and Steve Jobs, were known for their deep listening skills. Here's the deal. To understanding people on a deeper level, listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about interpreting tone, emotion, and meaning. Now, a lot of us guitar players and musicians, we focus on tone, focus on the tone of the instrument. But man, turn that skill and listen to the tone of someone's voice. You can hear whether they're condescending. You can hear whether there's a slight bit of anger in their tone. You can hear if maybe they're speaking out of insecurity by listening to their tone. The best communicators are those who listen more than they speak. In relationships, and that includes business, personal, and social, those who listen build deeper trust and stronger connections. And here's the deal. Here's the result of doing this. By listening, you can make wiser, more informed decisions. Rushed decisions often come from reacting too quickly rather than fully understanding the situation. When you listen first, you can see the full picture before making a choice. Many CEOs, politicians, and military leaders have succeeded because they gather all perspectives before taking action. Now, this is why the smartest person in the room is usually the quietest. They don't need to prove themselves. Highly intelligent people don't feel the need to dominate conversations to establish their worth. They let their actions, insights, and results speak for themselves. They observe, analyze, and process first. Instead of rushing to speak, they take in all information before responding. By the time they do speak, their words carry weight and depth because they've considered all angles. And here's the deal. Ask questions. If you want to understand something better than anybody else, they ask thoughtful questions instead of talking aimlessly. Instead of boasting or rambling, they ask questions that lead to deeper discussions. Socrates, or as Bill and Ted called Socrates, one of the greatest thinkers in history, was known for the Socratic method, asking the right questions instead of just giving answers. Now, the weakest person in the room makes the most noise. Noise is often a mask for insecurity. People who constantly talk, interrupt, or seek attention are often compensating for their own lack of confidence. They believe that being loud makes them appear strong, but in reality, it reveals their fear of being ignored or irrelevant. They seek validation through volume. Validation through volume. Weak individuals crave attention and affirmation, so they fill silence with meaningless words. Instead of listening and learning, they talk over others to assert dominance, even when they have nothing valuable to say. People can mistake loudness for strength. True strength is quiet confidence, not aggressive noise. The most powerful figures in history, leaders, thinkers, and warriors, knew when to stay silent and when to speak. Those who lack real power try to control the room with volume rather than wisdom. Now, in conclusion, the power of saying less and listening more. Silence is power. It allows you to process information, control conversations, and build deeper understanding. Listening is a superpower. The best communicators and decision makers are those who listen first and speak with purpose. Noise is often a sign of weakness. The loudest person in the room may be the most insecure, while the quiet one may be the most intelligent and strategic. Next time you're in a room full of people, pay attention to who's talking the most and who's truly listening. The one who speaks the least may be the most powerful person there.